This is definitely you got to think. What are we on? We are on like online, and of course from that you want it to be very like clickbaity and rage baity. You know, the most worstest thing in the world. So I think like if we were to focus like the actual the content of the character, I guess you could say for it. That's what actually that does matter here.
True. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. It was just based off a title. As I said, the plan is to blind react. So,
but I believe because you can very easily be moderate and go socialism is not a good idea, and socialist values that maybe wishing to be adopted or light socialism is not good for the country. I can see that not being far right.
If he's actually arguing that we have it and it's destroying the country, then I would say he's far right.
I mean, England is more socialist than Mozambique. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah. We definitely live in a capitalist society.
Oh yes, we live in a capitalist society, but I believe anyone who advocates for pure socialism or pure capitalism is delusional.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah,
because it's all about a balance of the two. I'm trying to like.
I would agree.
Trying to like open each of these reels in a new tab. I think we're gonna have to do a different Instagram thing for 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Then I'm gonna send you some text.
Any idea on order? Should we do it in the order that you sent it?
I reckon so. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll do that. Pause, and then. Oh, actually, it'd be easy if I was to, if I was to just bookmark them all, then I could just have it on one tab and then just go scroll through the bookmarks. Thinking smart, thinking smarter, not harder. Just pause these as well.
And then, how do you want me to send you like a chunk of text? It's not like I don't want it up on the screen, but just so that you can read it.
Through Discord itself would be easiest.
Through Discord. Cool.
That's all good. That's fine. I mean, there's no need for. Let me do that. What is that for, by the way? Is it for like you to quote? For, like you to say as if you.
No. That's just basically. So that is because that was a philosophical kind of thing that I learned in a lecture. And basically, that's just like some notes on it. So to get us started.
Okay.
But the bit where it says the question becomes, that's like the main bit I want to discuss. The other bit is just basically background for the guy.
Okay, makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
God, I was.
And then the bit afterwards is just a little bit extra because I was talking to my mate who does philosophy, and he told me that.
Got you. I'm actually insane to think. This is my story of the day. The story of the day is I actually met someone who is actually very insane. It's actually insane to think, but they were very, very woefully. I mean, their heart was in the right place. They have no idea how climate change works.
Really?
And they're my age. They're older than me, and they're like, yeah, the Earth is hot because it's not because of greenhouse gases. It's because there's less ice. I'm like, no.
What?
They thought that the reason the Earth is hot is because the ice is melting, so therefore there's more water, and more water means more like surface area to get hot.
Right.
Which is not true. Just checking that. What's that Brave audio? Let me just fix.
I just wanted to look at a couple of these reels, basically. So, kind of two of them are about DOGE thing.
Yes. Which is.
The first one is really like pro them,
and the other one is
and
not.
it's like, isn't it amazing? And the other one's just a fact checker.
Gotcha. Why is this doing? Why is this? Okay, what's that? This here. Now, is the audio working?
Wait, I don't want to do the Rubik's Cube one.
You don't want to do which one?
Or I kind of do. The Rubik's Cube one is a bit of a joke. That middle one.
This one.
Watch it. It's quite a funny one. But
let's do
it was like a joke one.
let's do it for the fact it has some funny elements to it. Okay, think of it that way.
It's a good bit. It's a good bit, that one. And then what's the other one?
Let me just change my source so you can actually hear as well at the same time as me. Pretty better. We'll post Instagram. High stream previews. Yeah. Cool. So
we're trying the much more relaxed format, yeah?
Yeah, less editing, less...
But also more just like, oh, okay, I'm going to watch this real quick. And maybe I'll watch this reel. Oh, what did it say again? Was it that kind of thing?
Yeah, so I'm actually zooming my camera in so you can't see the clothes on the floor because I couldn't be asked, alright? I'm a clean person. You know I'm a clean person. It's just I can't bother right now because I rushed home to get here. But yeah, at the end of that argument about it wasn't even an argument. It was just like, oh yeah, this is how it actually works. And as I was saying, like, actually, like, if you increase greenhouse gases, basically it traps it in. So, no, it doesn't trap it in because there's a hole in the ozone layer caused by fossil fuels. No, it's not caused by fossil fuels. It's caused by CFCs, which is a very different thing. Yeah. And they block different wavelengths. So actually, they like. At the end, it's like, stop mansplaining to me. Dude, I'm not mansplaining. Look, dude, it's fine. I'm
mansplaining to you.
It's weird. It's almost as if, even though I'm doing an engineering degree, I actually have to study this stuff in quite a lot of depth because, of course, my course is quite revolved around the energy industry. So the energy industry will deal with emissions. Like, I have to do toxicological reports on what my stuff I'm doing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Do you want to get into it? Should we start?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's do it.
I do have to admit to you, I've been recording for the past 7 minutes anyway.
Okay, nice.
But it's fun for a little preamble. We're going to cut it out. And I think it's just nice for a little bit. Oh, actually, one sec. I'm going to just notice something before we start. You know how Discord has a little like green outline whenever someone's talking?
Yeah. Oh, should I mute your... I'm seeing a thing on camera. Should I mute that?
Thing on camera? What camera?
It says like Sid's Cam 2. And there's an audio mixer with it.
Where are you seeing this? On Discord?
On OBS.
Is there two different like audio sources that spike up when I'm talking?
Sid's Cam 2, Sid's Cam Mic. Yeah.
Get rid of Sims Cam 2, I guess, probably.
Cool.
A little bit there, and a little bit there. Let's make you a little bit bigger as well.
I can't get rid of it. Oh.
You just mute it. If you mute it, it's gone.
Yeah.
At the audio mixer thing.
Just that audio button.
Yeah.
And then it goes all grey.
Yes.
Coolio. You can't hear any of my background, can you?
No, not really.
Okay, awesome. Just because, do live in a uni house, so...
It's because, of course, Discord does the, like, automatic audio quieting thing, which I don't think I've got, actually. One sec, I should check that out myself, actually. I'm going to just quickly check out my audio. I mean, it should be beautiful and sultry, as always. Yep, that's beautiful audio. That's amazing. Love that. Oh, shit. I still kept it on, so I can just hear myself with a little lag, so it's, like, causing me, like... Oh, there we go. Cool. All right, so... Which one do you want to start off in order then?
Start off in order? Hell yeah. What, do the reels first?
Yeah, let's do the reels first. We have a bit of fun to it, then we can go down and see if we've got enough time. We'll talk about it.
Actually, let's start with the bottom one and work our way up.
Bottom of the way up.
On the screen
okay.
There. Yeah.
Well, you're the one who got the sources for this week. All the sources are you, so we've got 7 videos all by you, and
yeah.
What is the key themes that's happened in the past while that we want to talk about?
Trump.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
That is fucking half of it. Trump and Musk.
Honestly, I can't remember who say this to, but I honestly, like, I wouldn't be surprised if the news media, like, I'm talking like CNN sort of people, I wouldn't be surprised if they're like very, very, very secretly pro-Trump, because every time Trump gets elected, they get so much content to make money off.
They do. I mean, yeah. This is one thing that was said when like Labour wins is they seem to be focusing on so many scandals and not policy, because that's like all the news could be with Conservatives, and I reckon the same is true with Trump. All the news
could be is scandals.
Like, yeah, basically all it can be is scandals, and like with Trump, it's just all it can be is outlandish headlines.
Yeah.
Like it's it's insane. Every like hour, I get a little notification on my phone being like, he did this new thing that no one thought he would possibly ever do. Like, Jesus.
You've got to laugh at some
So,
point, don't you?
3 hours ago, I got one about Trump, and then 12 today, so 6 hours ago, I got one about JD Vance. At 11 today, I got one about Trump. 5 p.m. last night, I got one about Trump. At 4 p.m. last night, I got one about Trump. Like, it's insane.
I doubt even the biggest Trump fan has an alert that goes off anytime Trump or Vance does something. Come on, man, you would.
Insane.
All right.
It's crazy.
Should we just watch this first curious expenditure?
Yes,
Well,
yeah. That's the good one.
Elon Musk, the head of the new Federal Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, has pledged...
First, let's start off. DOGE, come on. Like,
DOGE.
This is a serious thing. Actually, no, let's start. What do you think of the idea behind DOGE of cutting government waste?
I mean, look, government is wasteful, yeah, but also every government ever tries to cut waste. That's obviously the goal of every government. No government wants waste, so
of course
it's one of those things where like any government that pledges to come in just to cut waste, the last government's probably tried that, and it depends what you mean by waste. So like here it says on the screen, right, their aim is to cut £1 trillion. There's not £1 trillion of genuinely utterly useless waste. Sorry, $1 trillion of genuinely utterly useless waste, because it depends on your definition of waste. So I remember speaking to like a reform candidate in a local election, like when we were counting the votes, and he was saying we need to stop celebrating any non-British holidays, and I pressed him on that, and he basically said like Ramadan and stuff like that, which, considering in Southampton there's a really high percentage of Muslims living here, baffling to me why the council wouldn't celebrate it. But that's what he meant by cutting the waste. You know, not that we shouldn't celebrate Christmas, but that we should stop celebrating Ramadan and Hanukkah and other things, like other holidays that aren't Christmas. So waste becomes such like a loose, you know?
You know me, I'm not a big fan of governments. There we are, end sentence. I assume by what reform means about it, they're not going to ban individuals from celebrating and individuals spending their own money on it, but it's the council spending money on this sort of thing.
Yeah, they didn't want the council to spend money on it.
I've got to think about that because...
Look, fair enough if your policy is the government shouldn't be spending on it. The bit I was highlighting there, though, right, is that they didn't say it for Christmas or Easter. The point I'm trying to make, though, is you can always cut waste if you've used different things as wasteful. So say if you viewed all handouts from the government as wasteful, then cutting the waste would be cutting those handouts.
Yes.
That counts as cutting the waste. And that's the problem, is it's such a good word to say, oh, we're cutting the waste, because it feels like you get this image of like, I don't know, just tens of millions of dollars just being lost. Just going like, oh, shit,
in the money
who
hole,
know where that
why
went?
not?
Yeah, oh, you know, to keep us warm, we burnt $10 billion. Like, you know, that's not what happens, but that's what you think of when they say the words waste, whereas really what they mean, like we saw, was, cool, we're going to freeze spending on education, we're going to drastically cut it, we're going to stop spending on foreign aid, on USAID, we're going to stop spending on Ukraine. That's what they mean by waste. That's not waste, that's just, it's your opinion as to whether that's useful or not. But it's not like objectively waste.
Because if you ask me right now, like, Sid, should the government cut funding to Ramadan? I'll go, yes. Okay, then you go, well,
yeah,
then
sure.
think about it, I'll go, all right, to not be a hypocrite,
yeah, I get what you're saying.
To not be a hypocrite, I'll have to cancel Christmas. And I'm like, why do I feel objection to that? It is because I'm a Christian, alright, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, waste is in the eye of the beholder. That's a quote, but it'll sell it on a t-shirt easily. Like, I think that's just, like, it's so hard to, but if we were, I don't know, maybe, how would we ever be able to cut any waste at all? Because there's always someone, mainly the person who's profiting of it. If it was something that's genuinely wasteful, how would we be able to like go yes, definitely get rid of it? How do we know, what passes the bar for definitely being waste?
Yeah, I mean that's like the problem, right? And yeah, it's crazy. How do you find it? How do you stop it? like it's difficult enough to find like 100 trillion of it. It's insane.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of government waste, because I don't understand. You do reckon it better than I do. I don't get how, like, the US could owe China like 400 billion, but then China could also owe the US China owes the US 200 billion at the same time. Why don't we just like call it quits, like 200 each off?
So basically, it's not the country spend the debt. So its debt is like a whole mixture of things, but a lot of it is in government. For simplicity, we'll say all of it's in government bonds. It's not, but for simplicity, we'll say it's in government bonds. Basically, the government says, "Give me money now. In 10 years' time, I'll give you that money plus 10%." Okay. Right? And the less reliable that government seems, the more you ask for. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. Is a bunch of Chinese citizens, Chinese companies, etc., own. Have bought whatever number it is.
So it's citizens, not to governments. It's not government to government loans.
I think it can be the government. I don't think there's anything to stop it, but it's not like America in 5 years' time has to go, here you go, China, 200 billion.
Yeah,
like
it's not Trump owing Xi Jinping money. It's
exactly.
Okay, that makes more sense. And we should continue a little bit more of the video.
Cut $1 trillion in government spending and to restructure federal agencies with mass headcount reductions. While many of Musk's attacks,
to be fair, also, do you think that there are some government places that there are too many jobs where some of them aren't actually needed?
Potentially. I don't think it's a thing you can rule out, but I don't know. I see a lot of this, I think, has gotten away from the kind of small state advocates, because where you start off, right, with a small state is you go, it's like the economic principle, right, of if you agree with capitalism, then competition creates efficiency.
Correct.
And monopolies are inefficient. The government is a monopoly. There's no like rival government in the area, right? Kind of. So
that's the main issue with the government, is there is no alternative to it.
There's no like, oh well, I'll get my state pension from this one unless they do it inefficiently enough, and I'll go with this guy, you know. But it's turned into this kind of attacking really niche things, like they have too many people employed. How do you know that? That may not be the inefficiency. Why? You've got to think, why would they want people employed when they don't need it? If they're running a deficit. If one big problem, which America does have right now, is the deficit, why have they got people employed doing nothing? And again, it's the same thing. Musk did it at Twitter. I'm still calling it Twitter, never not Twitter. But he walked in, he went, half of you are fired. He literally fired like 40% of the workforce or something crazy like that. And then it didn't work anymore. But like at the time, he was like, "You guys don't do anything. You're useless." Found out later on they did do something, and now SpaceX employees are like having to be moved over to help keep it up.
But I do believe that's, sometimes just from the fact that the government has been running for 250 years in America, because of that, there are some jobs which are no longer needed and they're just not dealt with, or there are, we've got this much budget given by the government. If we don't spend it, we're going to lose it. So we'll find an excuse to spend it so we get to keep it next year.
By the way, I just Googled it. It's about 80. He fired 80% when he joined Twitter, when he took over Twitter.
To be fair though, with Twitter, like
80.
How much is coding going to do? Like, you're going to develop a new way to look at
True.
tweet.
But yeah, because there are so many. Ask anyone. The platform is full of bots now.
Oh yeah,
like so much more than before.
I have blocked personally with my own thumbs over 1,000 accounts.
Exactly, and that didn't happen nearly as much. Also, they've dropped any sense of fact checking, or any sense of fact checking. They've stopped enforcing their policy guidelines. They've stopped doing all of that. So.
Yeah, the policy guidelines, they've stopped doing that one. But the fact-checking thing, they've now developed a more sort of Wikipedia-esque vibe where it's, with the community notes, anyone can comment, and it's the aggregate. becomes
Yeah,
the
but
accurate opinion is the correct one.
obviously, if you post a right-wing post, the way algorithms work is that sends it to right-wing people who are then going to agree with the post because it agrees with their views. Therefore, almost everything comes back as true because like the people who see Elon Musk tweets, the majority of them are going to be Musk fans, hence why they're seeing his tweets. Therefore, they're going to disagree with him.
I'm pushing back
Go
on you. Look, I actually do believe that Twitter is a lot less echo chamber than most other platforms because of the feature that you can just read, that you can quote tweet. Because the amount of like I'll see lots of right wing and lots of left wing content, and the reason I see it is because someone who I agree with will quote it and go like, "Look at this idiot."
See, because I get right wing, but I get right wing content exactly like you said, of left wing person saying, "Look at this right."
Yeah,
that's not really right wing content though. I'm seeing left wing content. My echo chamber is a left-wing group that wants to make fun of the right wing. I'm not actually learning what right-wing people think and why they think the way they think. And it's not like me and you right now. I'm just going, dumb idea. Moving on. It's not the same. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like, to be fair, I don't know what it is. Sometimes there's a quote tweet, and actually, like, no, I disagree. The tweet that you're quoting is actually fact.
Sure.
There's been a lot of times where I just see like radical feminists and radical not feminists, I guess or radical feminists versus like the right.
What, male rights?
No, just like the right in general. And honestly, half the time, they're both saying the exact same thing, just different phrasing, and and they're both completely correct in their own ways. It's just their framing of it. I do think that Twitter is a lot less that compared to Instagram, because with Instagram, there's a lot. How on earth are you going to like get out of this bubble?
The biggest problem with Twitter is that it claims to be free of echo chamber. It is not, and it claims to not push one side, and it does. To be fair, I think you're not incorrect. I think a lot of my echo chamber on Twitter has been broken. Reason being, I get shoved right-wing content down my throat now. So maybe on that grounds, yeah, it broke my echo chamber. But all it's really done is it's kind of undeniable. Twitter's become a very right-wing platform, and then you've got what's it called, like Blue Sky? Is that what it's called, or something like that? Which is just incredibly. It's just a left-wing echo. That's all you're getting, And they're trying to say like, oh, it's the phrase they keep using. It's the virtual town square, but it's not. If the only views you ever hear on it are that's not a town square.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the left dropped the ball there. They should have combated hate speech with better speech, and instead they just ran away to made their own echo chamber, which is not productive for a debate.
Partially, but I think it's difficult because Twitter's meant to be fun. It's social media. It's how people relax, unwind. It's what people do when they're on the toilet. It's what people do when they're on a work break. And then it's just become you get so sick of going, no, you're wrong because of this. Please stop talking, spreading lies. This, please stop doing that. It gets so boring. You want the reason why the algorithm create echo chamber is because that's what your brain enjoys. So you're asking left wing people or to put up until Musk gives up on Twitter, which I still think he will at some point.
Gotcha.
But until that point, asking them to just go on a platform every day that they don't enjoy. That's why I don't post on Twitter with this podcast, because I don't enjoy doing it. I tried it and it was so hateful and angry, and I was like, this is genuinely making my day worse.
Gotcha. Makes
Actively
sense.
making me feel bad.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, ever since Jack Dorsey owned it, so that was since it started really. Everyone's always saying oh yeah, actually Twitter is designed to make you ragey, right? It's made you ragey. It still is nowadays. But I do find a sense of catharsis when someone posts something and someone gets brutally community noted, or when someone gets absolutely ratioed in the comments, or
there have been some fun ones, yeah.
That is entertaining.
My favourite one was back during the election, and the Tories posted Labour want to tax your pensions, your car, and your home, and then the community notes under it just said all of these are taxed. are currently taxed.
But what I would pick down from that advert is that they want to increase. It's kind of implicit that they want to.
Yeah, sure.
Increase it.
But in the advert, it was just.
It's
I
being,
don't
it's
know,
being
I
a
just found it
nitpick.
really
They're
funny.
nitpicking for community points.
They are going to tax your pension, tax your car, and tax your house, and it just went. All of these are already taxed. Don't think they're going to introduce a tax on pension.
Honestly, imagine if you had a Conservative Party that conserved something instead of making sure the number goes up and failing miserably at it. Like, come on.
I mean, I'd hate it more, I think, but you know.
Well, if you'd hate the Conservatives if they were able to conserve the environment.
Oh no, okay. But the philosophy of conservatism.
But the
progressivism.
The philosophy of conservatism is not actually being maybe they actually believe it, but it's not being enforced. I'll tell you that under the conservative rule.
If it was enforced, apart from the environment, probably fucking worse than what they.
You wouldn't want to preserve the rights of the workers either. That's just you.
No, because the rights of the workers have gotten better over time. If we preserved them as they were in the 60s, they would be a lot fucking worse than they are now.
Prevent erosion. Sorry, is what I mean.
Okay, fair enough. Which I think is progressivism. I think to prevent erosion, you have to constantly grow, but also because, as I said, keeping like 60s style of workers' rights would mean we have worse rights than we do now.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about Lockean perspectives.
Yeah, anyway,
later on.
Sorry, we got
like those on USAID have been controversial. DOGE has drawn attention to some government expenditures that are rather curious. $38 million went to the lab in Wuhan from which COVID-19 is believed to have originated from.
I still think it totally did. It totally came out of place. Let's be honest. The chances is very, very. It's slim to none.
Maybe it was. I don't think it was purposeful. Disease where it's come out of lab. That was purposeful, but also the fact. See, so literally this one is I want to dispute every single one of these claims as to why they're questionable, because it framed it as they've found a number of questionable spendings of money. 38 million to Wuhan, to a lab in Wuhan, is not weird to find. It is not weird to find the biggest investor in science in the world has invested in in one of the biggest economies, in the second biggest economy in the world. That isn't weird. That China, the second biggest economy in the world, who also has a lot of leading edge science and cutting edge technology, has been invested in by America, which is the richest country in the world. That's really fucking normal. Like, that's how research works. You can do a research that is funded by America. You can do one that's funded by China. You can do one that's funded by Australia, or you can do one funded by how funding works.
I would say though, wouldn't it be? How to explain it? I'll explain this better. Like, wouldn't it be more advantageous for America and Americans themselves to have that funding go towards labs in America to do this research?
Potentially not if someone was nowhere near it. What if there's a team in Wuhan, 5 researchers, they're all on the cutting edge, they've got ideas, they're already there, they need some funds to figure this stuff out. Well, the world benefits. When China invents something, the world benefits. When America invents something, the world benefits. The brilliance of globalization is we share technologies, right? If America invents, when the vaccine was invented, right? Yes, the country that invented it got priority. Every other country then got access to that vaccine. If we went like, I see you're close to figuring out a vaccine, but I want to do it for myself, so I'm not going to help you, we would discover stuff at such a slow rate. It would just be worse. But it's not unusual, is my point. It's really not unusual.
I could take that, yeah, because this is for global. We ain't living in Star Trek, we haven't got a unified. We haven't got a unified government, world government. We could debate that as well, because I'm not too sure that's the bestest idea. But let's think about that. But yeah, this sort of thing. Like, yes, I believe that America and China are in a cold war, right? They're competing. Sure. They're competing. And
yeah, I think that.
To be fair, that sort of thing is somewhat a gesture of goodwill. To be fair, I can see that. But
yeah,
if it was a different lab I doubt the questions will be raised. It's just that the fact it was the lab, the lab.
And I think stuff like that is but stuff like that. So they said a lab. Yeah, they didn't say the lab COVID was invented.
No, it's the lab. It was the Wuhan lab in
A lab in Wuhan. It said Wuhan's like a city. There was a lab there. It'd be like saying a lab in Southampton.
Oh dear God, there isn't like a go back button on this. I'm not going around all the way around again. I'm gonna trust you on that.
Okay, yeah. I hope I'm right anyway. But I mean the thing. Yeah, I don't know, and yeah, you bring up a good point. I do think they're on the edge of a cold war. Anyway, I'd say not quite one yet, but I think really on the edge. I think the problem is stuff like this is what's stopping it being a. There's not a arms race in terms of science. Like there's still cooperation with some things, and stopping that money will stop that cooperation. You know, if you've donated zero money, $0 to China to discover something, they're not then going to go, here, do you want it? Like, they're then going to try and keep a secret. That's what creates, like, we've got this, you've got that, I'm keeping mine.
Yeah, that is true. You do want to have some sort of gesture of goodwill. To a degree, you don't want to be doing nothing but gesture of goodwill and China's just giving you the finger. If you're doing that, then you're an idiot for that, really.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, this is like the whole America, right? Is it's an unfair deal.
Yeah.
But I think what you're forgetting is soft power is a thing. So, right. So, exactly. So World War II happened. Right after World War II, Europe was basically decimated. America lost so much money in rebuilding Europe. Why? Because they weren't going to trade with the communists.
Yeah.
Like, kind of as simple as that. They needed another continent to be able to trade with, to build their economy. So even if you lose money like that, you gain things, right? If they are friendly with China, America's the number one country right now, right?
Yes.
Most powerful, it's in charge, it's the leader, it was the leader of the free world anyway, right? If they then step back from that role, China starts going, okay, maybe we can take. Then you have to actively fight against China for the number one spot.
Yes.
That will cost America more than just sending them 40 million, 38 million to some labs. Or, you know, it costs them less to be like that.
Yeah.
Your camera's gone, by the way.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm fixing it right now. Also saying that, please check the Discord
What
messages,
is that
please.
with the camera? Oh, okay. Apologies.
Messaging you like crazy. What the fuck is on my photo of me?
It's just black.
Yeah, and it's frozen. Oh.
I'm cutting it out.
Yeah, you're cutting out like crazy, man. Because your noise suppression's going off. It's thinking that you're silent when you're not.
Oh shit. How do I change that? I don't know.
I gave you instructions.
Please, next to hang up, just the microphone button.
One with like all the little lines.
That isn't like a thing. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Lines.
Wait, now how do I get back to Discord? Now it's gone into fucking settings. Here we go. Okay. There aren't three little lines for me.
Video.
Mate, there's not. I don't know what you're on about. That is literally not on my thing. Oh, there, down there. Right, okay. Right, is that working?
Talk for a bit.
Hello.
Yeah, it's working
Wait,
beautifully. And I am now working beautifully.
Oh, the disconnect button. I thought you were saying the one on the screen. If you look at the cameras.
Oh.
That's what I thought you were saying.
See me
Why
now?
is your camera bugging out? No.
Because my camera's
Yeah, it can.
because my camera's expensive, it's really hard. That's how it should be.
Why does it do that thing where it stops working every 10 minutes?
Tax is the reason, which is the bullshit. Tax, I'll tell you that.
Tax?
Yeah, because a camera gets charged 14% tax. A video camera is 30% tax. I'm making the numbers up, but it's something like that. It's incredibly much higher. So technically, if it's more than 30 minutes, it's not a video. If it's less than 30 minutes, it's not a video camera.
Oh, okay.
It's a tax. I mean, even if I spent like $2,000 on this camera, I think a little bit higher tax. Come on, man. Yeah, let's continue this.
500 grand has gone to efforts to expand atheism in Nepal. The National Endowment for the Arts awarded the Bearded Ladies Cabaret a $10,000 grant to support a cabaret show on ice skate.
Pause it. So
The atheism point first.
So the what?
The atheism point.
Yeah, that's really, 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 really normal, right? All of this is political, and it sounds kind of fucked up to people that aren't that into politics. But it's America protecting America's interests, right? You know what? It's probably fucked up for people that are Christians, for people that live in Nepal. It's quite a fucked up thing to do, you can argue. But if you're an American, it is literally to spread your interests.
It is sinister to do that. It's sinister to do that.
It is sinister.
It's sinister to do that. I mean, but I thought you were going to say something along the lines of, oh, actually, research this, and actually, if you're an atheist in Nepal, you're like going to be hunted down and killed. Then I'm fine with that money going to that. But if you're doing it to spread global homogenization, that is.
So it's a bit sadistic, but like basically what it is, right, is like, okay, look, so when politics and religion merge too much, it can cause a lot of instability, right? Typically more stable countries tend to have a lot of things like separation of church and state, right? Or more just views that, keep religion out of politics. Spreading atheism is part of that, because the more people, if 100% of your population is Christian, it should be part of your politics. It wouldn't make sense to not be part of your politics. If you live somewhere like the UK where the majority of people are not religious, then it makes sense to not have religion involved in your politics. And for stability in places like Nepal, that's like, kind of international relations 101, right? Try and keep your allies stable.
Yeah.
Or try and keep neutral countries stable, because neutral countries, if you keep them stable, become allies.
Yes.
Like literally like what I said with America and Europe after World War II. Like they created an ally by losing money. The power you gain from this stuff is huge. The ROI, right, the return on investment of 500,000, which for a government that plays around with like $1 trillion or something, it's fucking nothing, right? The ROI of having a stable ally in Asia, if you could make one, is huge. Like enormous.
I mean, that all makes sense, and I understand all of it, but it is very sinister. I am always going to be the one to protect religious freedoms. All right, I think I'm more so than you. But with what you're saying earlier, that if the country was 100% Christian, it makes sense to not have a separation of church and state.
Mm-hmm.
If England was like 90% Christian, should we still have separation of church and state? I think so, as a Christian myself as well.
I think so, because I think it makes politics inherently more stable. But also I'm a big advocate for democracy, but being Christian doesn't mean you want church and state merged. So I don't know, but
But
the
that
point
goes,
is,
it goes with any religion as well. Any religion should have separation between church and
but
state.
definitely, the more atheists, the more people want separation of church and state.
Because they feel that the church is not going to represent their
And I
views,
think
of course.
it's false stability. And I mean, look, this is why I've never been a fan of America. They always preach freedom, liberalism, tolerance, democracy, and they basically have never once done that in practice with other countries. But if you're an American looking at this, purely looking out for interests of Americans, which people like Trump are claiming to do and Musk are claiming to do, you shouldn't care about this. Like, this is a good thing for you.
I mean, okay. I'm fine with that being objected, but not on the fact that it doesn't represent America's interests, because it does. I'm objecting to that because that is not a good thing to do. You shouldn't be. Well, it's not okay.
Sure.
Them protecting atheists does not imply that they are trying to forcefully convert those to atheism, or they're trying to suppress those religious voices. But I still think there is a bit of an iffy area there. But let's move on to this drag show thing now. What do you think on that?
Yeah. Again, it is spreading your which country was it in?
Philippines, I think.
Philippines. Okay, cool. So an Asian country in. Is the Philippines religious?
Yes.
You just search it up.
It's a mixture of Christianity and Islam off the top of my head.
Of the Philippines. Okay. 80% Christian. 92% Christian, 6% Islam. So hugely religious country. Most religions tend to be quite intolerant of LGBT plus groups. America supposedly anyway promotes those kind of rights. Liberalism anyway promotes those rights. And as you're saying, right, we're looking like we're entering a Cold War between China, who is very authoritarian and very not pro individual rights, and America, who at least claims to be very pro individual human rights.
Yeah.
That clashes, and if you can get more of the population supporting LGBTQ plus movements, maybe even become part of it by seeing it. I'm not saying they indoctrinate people, you know what I mean? Like, right, if you see... No,
indoctrination is the correct term, but not all indoctrination is sinister.
Sure, yeah, that's a good way of putting it, actually. But yeah, so like, you know, if it's like that, and then you get more people believing in a cause that America aligns in and China doesn't, this is literally how you create allies. This is how you create allies, is you create countries relatively close to China that become loyal to causes you believe in and China openly hates. That's how you create allies. You know?
But why a drag show? I'm fine with drag shows. I'm fine with LGBT people. Last you checked, last I checked, I think I'm fine with them. You know what I mean? I'm fine with that sort of stuff. Drag is an acquired taste, I tell you that. Like, I'm fine with it. I'm used to it. Like, honestly,
I've never seen one.
If we're starting off with I don't know. I'm assuming because it's a large Christian country that it is not the most accepting of LGBT plus rights. That's a fair assumption to make, and of course, I'm going to also state that is not always true with any Christian. Usually, those in the Western world are more tolerant to it, because with this, it was a slow change of personal opinion. You know, you'd start off with representation of these sort of characters, of these sort of stereotypes within media, and so on and so forth. And now we're able to now we as in UK citizens, we're now able to go to drag shows which are made for, by, and tailored to LGBT audiences. But this sort of place, this is not an LGBT audience. Well, there will be some, of course, there will be some. But
I know loads of people not on the LGBT spectrum that have gone to a drag show and enjoy it. I know loads of people that watch RuPaul's Drag Race and aren't in the LGBT group at all. And I think that's the point is it's developing ideals that America stands for and their biggest opponents don't stand for. And the reason why it's a drag show is because you don't have a gay show. Like, that's the reason.
Oh, there isn't such thing as
yeah,
no, we don't. We're doing just drag. We're not doing the gay show. That's too much for them. I thought you were saying that.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, as in, like, what's it going to be? Cool. yeah, we've paid for you guys to watch these two men kiss. America supporting pornography, that's a bit weird, right? But a drag show is I'm gonna dress up. It's a fashion walk, but it's a fashion show. It's just I'm gonna wear the opposite gender's clothes. Right, but it's a fashion show. It's culture, it's fashion, but also happens to support your ideals and not your enemy's ideals. Of course you're going to promote that in other countries. Of course you are.
I was just saying, if it was my job to create positive LGBT plus relationships, LGBT plus relationships, and not even that, it's positive influence. Not influence. What is the word? Positive, like, viewpoints on this community.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do a drag show personally. I would do positive representation in media. I'm talking like, do a TV show, do a movie, a really, really good one.
Yeah.
You really sympathise with the characters. On the scene, they kiss.
Sure. That's fantastic. They're probably way better. Can you make a film for $10,000? $10,000.
Not a movie quality one, that's the thing, yeah.
So this is why they've also done it, because it costs $10,000. That's nothing. That's so easy to do.
But it's insane that the government's like, 10,000 is literally the sort of... If they saw 10,000 on the floor, if the government was a person and saw 10,000 on the floor, it wouldn't bother picking up.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not. It's too big. But you know, that is such a valid reason. That isn't, and the reason why I'm saying all this, right, is because we need to watch the reel the whole way through afterwards, I think. Again, because what we're forgetting, right, is it set it up as there's so much waste in the government. Here's all the crazy, wacky, useless stuff that they've been spending on, that Musk, DOGE, and fans of them are basically saying it's fraudulent to have spent this money. They are like basically robbing the government, robbing the taxpayers, that they shouldn't be paying for this. It's useless. They're literally saying it is the same as burning money. And my point here, every single one of these examples actually has a use for the government and therefore for the taxpayer.
Okay, so like on this point, because we're kind of framing it as if I'm the one who's like defending it each time, just because I don't like government waste. Yeah. That's it. But this one is a fair point. 10,000 is a fair thing to spend on it, but is it America's responsibility to, like, is it ethical for America to impose its own values on other countries? I'm still thinking. That's
a really good question, which is going to link into what I want to talk to later. Those are really, really good ethical questions. But the idea that it's like wasteful and for no reason just annoyed me so much when watching it. I was like, I've got to talk about this.
It is wasteful if you view that America should not be doing that.
True. Yeah. But is it wasteful in terms of like
return on investment?
Just burnt it for the sake of it? Then no, it's not. You know,
if we're playing the long game, return on investment on spreading American imperialism, is that the word? I don't know. Imperialism is always fun to use around with America. Honestly.
You know what I mean? Well, imperialism is like, they would argue they're like the opposite of that, but I think imperialism is a perfect word to describe America.
No, but is spreading Americanism, is that imperialistic of them to do that? Remind me. Spreading American values by giving other countries money to just do pro-America things, not just having...
You know what? I don't know. I don't actually know.
Let's just continue and think about it then.
Yeah.
That focused on climate change. $75,000 in grants went to a Harvard study on lizards being blown off trees with leaf blowers. The NIH spent $2.3 million for a study injecting dogs with cocaine.
I'm pro both of them. I'm sorry.
Like, that's called science. I literally read up. I've remember listening, to a Radio 4 thing, a BBC Radio 4 thing.
Go on.
I can't remember what for. It was like a biology project back in GCSE or something, but about the lizards and the leaf blowers. And the reason why they're doing it, right, is basically they were studying so there was a hurricane in Mexico, I believe, and half of the iguanas disappeared overnight.
Yeah.
They got blown up, right? The other half remained, looked wildly different. It literally, one hurricane caused basically a new species to be created after like 10 years.
There is a term for rapid evolution, basically.
Yeah, there is.
Like that.
Yeah, exactly. But they were like, why did these ones survive? And basically, they found out because the ones with shorter legs and like smaller bodies were less aerodynamic. Less aerodynamic, therefore less likely to be picked up, blown away by the wind. And like this, it's called science, right? That's like, it's biology. Like they're saying, oh, how wasteful we funded the sciences. This is disgusting.
I mean, not all sciences. Not all sciences are equally valid. No. Like different. Not all science experiments are equally valid. We definitely know that for sure. Like putting lipstick on a dog is less valid than making a nuclear reactor. But should this have to be put out to the public, the entire mass, to go, yes, I agree with it, I don't agree with it? Because if I say to you, injecting dogs with cocaine, would you want to fund that, yes or no? You'd probably go no. But if I was to explain this shit, which will go way over your head about the reasons behind it and all this sort of stuff, you ain't got time. You don't need to care about it.
Yeah.
Maybe something down the line will something will come out of it, but like maybe not.
And I'm hugely against animal testing. So hugely against it. I think it's wrong and immoral. But
to a degree,
but also that's up. But again, wow. Okay, weird take.
Come on, let's do it now.
Come on, let's do it. Let's do it.
I would rather inject a monkey with cocaine than a human.
I do not think.
I think that it's less. Well, it's not. It's still equally cruel, but compared to humans, I believe that humans have more. They are more precious than an animal.
I can see where you say that. I mean, I think
might just be from my religious ground, where I believe that because of that.
Religion affects that hugely, yeah.
But
as a non-religious person, I see. This is quite a harsh line taking, but I literally, intrinsically, I want to say human lives are more valuable, but I genuinely cannot think of a single logical reason why they are, given that I'm not religious.
Neither can I. Even though I am religious, I still
can't
I would. View it.
But the thing is, I do intrinsically. There was like you have to kill a human or a dog. You have to. Which one are you doing it? Of course, I'm killing the dog.
I would rather have 100 rats in a laboratory than 100 people. Very easily.
Sure, exactly. But I can't logically think of.
That's what philosophy is for. Is explain.
Exactly.
That's what religion is for, alright? Why can't we do this? Because God said. Simple, done, alright? No need to question about it. God said so, we can't.
Awful reason to believe in God. Do you think God's going to go, oh, you were a true believer, you did it because you couldn't be bothered to think about it?
Okay, yeah, that is an unfair representation of what religion is. We can understand it, like, if you're, like, back in a village, we're talking, like, 800 AD. Why can't I kill? Because God said so. So they have to go.
It's the answer. It's the answer to nihilism, though. Ultimately, like everything's meaningless. Is no, you're special because God. It's why we do it. But the reason why I'm so against animal testing is because animals didn't choose to do it. No, especially with makeup products. Humans went, I want my lips to look this way, and I want them to be this amount waterproof. Let's test it on a rabbit first and see if it has a severe allergic reaction. Like, that's not fair on the rabbit. The rabbit's getting nothing out of that. Yeah. We just wanted to go, you know what, I support it on testing on rats and stuff when we're looking at vaccines, right, to save lives or stuff like that. When you're talking about, like, because I wanted to see if this new eyelash curler will kill me. Like, that's not fair to kill other animals because you fancied it. But to save lives. So again, that's why I'm not sure about this one, because cocaine on dogs, that could be to try and save lives. I don't know.
It most definitely is, to be honest.
It's very unlikely that's because,
for the fun of it.
I don't know, yes, some employee wanted to take cocaine and he went, well, if it doesn't kill this dog, then I can take it. Yeah.
I would like to state, though, for my animal cruelty thing, I don't want them to be treated in inhumane manners when doing so. Just like, sorry, dog, we have to do this because it's going to save lives to do this. And if we can reach a phase where we can realistic one-to-one accuracy, not represent, but like one-to-one accuracy, render the real world in a computer and have the computer do these simulations, I would immediately go, we must go for that instead, and stop all the cruelty on mice and animals and other pets and stuff. We will now do just computer modelling, but we're not there yet. The second we are, we'll do that. Then afterwards, we'll start talking about robot rights, but... No, I'm preempting.
But I fully get why. I fully get why you wouldn't want to, like. Obviously, no one wants to, like, have humans die.
For now, this is the best we've got. All right. We
a lot
can,
of time. Yeah.
should,
I think stuff like makeup. I think that stuff like makeup. No.
I don't understand. Haven't we got enough makeup products? What's new going to come out? Like, unless it can, like, I don't know, like actually turn my.
Or if you're desperate enough, try it on yourself. If you are that desperate, try it on yourself. See if you get an allergic reaction. Maybe you get really swollen lips, or maybe you break out in a rash.
Yeah, but it could be fatal. I don't want to risk a human fatality.
It's not going to be fatal. If it kills the dog, the makeup brand's seriously messed up. Nothing like a blusher that you put on your cheeks should be able to kill you. That would be insane.
What if we did this cocaine dog experiment and the dog did not notice? Like, if you put like smear a bit of lipstick on a rabbit, it doesn't notice. Like, is that still like?
Well, it does if it breaks out in a rash.
But if it didn't happen, is that fine?
Yeah, it's just putting lipstick on a rabbit.
Which I do most Thursdays normally, but now I do this podcast. Right, let's continue this up.
And the State Department spent $4.8 million on Ukrainian influencers and $118,000.
Again, so they spent money on Ukrainian influencers. You meaning helping support the war effort? Like, of course they fucking did. It's a war they've spent $100 billion in. Of course they've spent $5 million fueling propaganda for the war. That's baffling. That would be like going, oh my god, can you believe it? The English during World War II used propaganda. What?
That's the thing. Is all propaganda inherently immoral? Like,
no.
Reflectively, I would say yes, reflectively. But honestly, not really.
It's not. It's not. Propaganda can just be trying to promote your value.
Propaganda's only banned if I disagree with it. That's basically the line I've drawn, which is probably the line that most people will draw. Because it's the one that makes the most logical sense.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a very Machiavellian approach, but fuck it, sometimes you gotta convince people. And if the convincing people is convince them to fight for a country that you've spent $100 billion already trying to defend, you have so much invested in that doing something, that being worth something at the end of it, that you're $5 million to try and to get people to sign up. Because what they did with the Ukrainian is they got a bunch of like really hot female models to pretend they were on the front lines. God. And it did get people to sign up though.
That
it got
is
a lot
so
of
bad though. Come on. Like,
why is that bad?
Not bad.
Because
no, come on. Like, how on earth are you falling for that though? Like, come on.
Oh yeah.
How are you falling for that?
For that?
Is this the bar? Like, if we look back at like the propaganda that the English drew for World War II, it's sort of like join the military and you'll be buff and handsome and amazing and cool, and then Hitler's a small little rat and awful. But now it's like, if you die for your country, there's a chance you might touch a boob. Huh? How does that sound, guys? Huh?
Sex sells,
And I'm not.
It's a powerful tool.
That's the issue. But sex sells. Far too much. It's far too effective of a tool. Honestly, I feel like there should be like generic conventions. Like, we're just gonna like not do this because it's too effective, really. But, like, not just wars, just like in general, businesses can't do sex sell anymore. All right, so the perfume ads are gone. There's a guy in like a grey room is like, buy this smell. Why?
Or
that was nice.
I feel so bad for companies like Hub and stuff. You can't advertise using sex.
Do those companies need advertising?
What do they advertise as? Like, well, yeah, I'm sure they do some sort of advertisement, maybe on just like other porn sites. But like, I'm sure they'll do something, right? Or like,
okay, maybe those sites.
They have an Instagram. Don't ask me how I know.
Everyone, it's on video. Charlie knows it's not.
Did you not know that? No, I remember it was a big thing in secondary school. We all found it hilarious for a day.
Hilarious. Okay.
Yeah. Like, no, like we were all showing it. Look how funny this.
I've I've seen Thanos. £118,000 on Thanos. You know what?
$1,000 in grants went to study if a metal robot replica of Marvel Comics' Thanos could really snap his fingers. It turned out this was quite difficult. A little.
Okay, defend that one, government boy.
It's called a physics experiment. It's body anatomy.
What? Whose body? This isn't a real person. This isn't a real alien.
Yeah, but it's to see if gloves can click. Metal gloves can click. That's what it's on about.
No,
it's to see if wearing a metal like gauntlet, you can click.
We have gauntlets in real life, right? Okay, a gauntlet was not invented, but it had to be. They've done it to Thanos' proportions. What are we getting at this? Okay, how does the globe benefit out of this? I'm sorry, like, come on.
But like, it's not a waste. There's a reason for it. It's a science experiment.
Everything's got a reason, but is the reason valid enough to warrant 118,000? I say no.
I'm gonna say yes, because I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet that is not the whole story. And
yes,
what they're looking into is something to do with prosthetics. Like how when we saw the dog with cocaine, we didn't go, oh, I bet they've just spent money on literally just to inject a dog with cocaine. We assumed there was other reasoning behind it.
The framing could very much be very much biased.
Exactly. I'm assuming there's other reasoning. Maybe it's for obese people with prosthetic limbs if they suffer from diabetes.
Well, I'm not laughing at that. I thought it was for obese people if they wanted a gauntlet. It's like, buy a gauntlet, man. It's fine. It's not, don't need to spend
like prosthetics if you have diabetes and lose a limb to see if you can still click.
I'm pro prosthetics, weird enough.
That's not unfathomable. Yeah.
Over weird? 2 weeks into Trump's administration,
pause. Why the fuck is that weird to be pro prosthetics?
I'm not being serious.
What would you rather?
Right? It was the fact, to deal with the fact that I laughed because I was thinking in my head about the idea of like, let's do a site that says, can fat people wear a gauntlet? But if it's something to do with prosthetics, that is more than understandable. All right, let's finish the reel up. I think we're nearly at the end.
Claims it's saving the government at least $1 billion a day. We'll be keeping an eye on what Musk cuts and their consequences.
Yeah, the consequences at least. But overall, these have been quite biasly framed. Who knows? These might all be valid, but I do think the idea that it's good for the US government to spread the US's like worldview is correct, but it is not moral. I don't think that's something I have to talk about. I'm not too sure on that.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I don't know. Yeah, I'm very torn because I'm very torn on that stuff.
Should we go to a different reel?
Yeah. Sweet. Well, actually, let's watch that whole reel through though.
I mean, sure.
Because I just want to get a sense of like
any point we miss.
Because I think when you watch it together, it will do it together. But it will also show like why I'm so annoyed about it. It isn't just they went, there is this. The framing of it.
Federal Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, has pledged to cut $1 trillion in government spending and to restructure federal agencies with mass headcount reductions. While many of Musk's attacks, like those on USAID, have been controversial, DOGE has drawn attention to some government expenditures that are rather curious. $38 million went to the lab in Wuhan from which COVID-19 is believed to have originated.
The earlier point.
Fair play.
One. I don't think they would care about it unless it was that wrong.
Fair play.
Ignore that.
From $500,000 has gone to efforts to expand atheism in Nepal. The national.
This is expand atheism, so it means they're putting things to.
Yeah, there are some atheists in Nepal.
Expand, does it mean like how do you expand atheism?
You would expand the belief, so try to expand more.
So they are spreading the beliefs of atheism to
a
Christians.
lot of it will be lobbying the government to try to teach more like less creationism in their school, more evolution in their school stuff.
That's fine. That's fine with me. But if it's literally going up to like a church, you're going like, "Have you heard about not God?"
No.
Like,
no, like because that's like you can't preach atheism.
Right.
Endowment for the Arts awarded the Bearded Ladies Cabaret a $10,000 grant to support a cabaret show on ice skates that focused on climate change. $75,000 in grants went to a Harvard study on lizards being...
Yes, the pre-hurricane population gave them better grip.
Yes.
You were right.
Oh my god, I can't believe I remembered that. I literally learned that when I was like 16. That's crazy.
So yeah, because also it doesn't have to be a hurricane. It can be a leaf blower blowing off lizards. So only the strong survive. So maybe we're humans. We are having an impact on our environment. Maybe what we're doing is creating super lizards, basically.
But also that's genuine.
That's a good kind of money.
Developing planes, right? Like it's an understanding of aerodynamics.
And like, there's lots of research going into lizards' hands in itself, because how they grip is something that our technology cannot recreate, because it's so complex.
Yeah.
Being blown off trees with leaf blowers. The NIH spent $2.3 million for a study injecting dogs with cocaine, and the State Department spent $4.8 million on Ukrainian influencers. And $118,000 in grants went to study if a metal robot replica of Marvel Comics' Thanos could really snap his fingers. It turned out this was quite difficult. A little over 2 weeks into Trump's administration, DOGE claims it's saving the government at least $1 billion a day. We'll be keeping an eye on what Musk...
So like, one, those didn't even add up to $1 billion, let alone they're going to save $1 billion a day. And do you get what I mean? Like, the framing of it as well was so... Oh my god, can you believe they're spending money on supporting LGBTQ+? Crazy. Like, yes, I can believe. You know?
Because... I don't know if I get flack on this. Like, LGBTness is like a... Yes? How do I say it? Yeah, that is like a key tenet of Western liberal democracy, I guess. Well, it's not a key tenet. It is a consequence of it.
Yeah.
Because
and
without this system,
very recent. Yeah, you gotta remember, it was literally only like about 10 years ago we allowed marriage. Yeah. So it's very recent, but it's China and the East is a lot more considered than the West is. So
yes. Yeah. Now, so we've done this one. Any of the other ones which is next to pick?
Any of them, your pick, man.
Tom.
OpenAI is not for sale. The OpenAI mission is not for sale.
What's this? Probably his whole life is from a position of insecurity. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman says the company is not for sale.
Yeah. So it's about Elon Musk trying
to buy it.
Made a bid to buy it. Yeah.
Have a look.
Elon tries all sorts of things for a long time. This is this week's episode.
You take it seriously at all? What do you think he's trying to drive at with this?
I think he's probably just trying to slow us down. He obviously is a competitor. He's working hard and he's raised a lot of money for XAI, and they're trying to compete with us from a technological perspective, from getting the product into the market. And I wish he would just compete by building a better product, but I think there's been a lot of tactics, many lawsuits, all sorts of other crazy stuff. Now this. And we'll try to just put our head down and keep working.
Do you think Musk's approach then is from a position of insecurity about XAI?
Probably his whole life is from a position of insecurity. I feel for the guy.
You feel for him?
I do, actually. I don't think he's like a happy person. I do feel for him.
Okay. Do you worry that he has this proximity to the president and he can influence the decision-making of the US presidency and policies around?
Stop. That's a completely separate question. But the first question I'm going to pose to you is, so I am like capitalism's #1 fan. That's very not true, but funny way to frame it. I believe that one of the best ways for for innovation is through competition. Of course, what's his name? Musk every fucking week posts that picture of like, oh yeah, here's the first rocket I designed, and here's the third one. Like, look how much more efficient it gets. Like, yeah, that is true. This is what happens under this system. Is the best way to do it is by competition. So yes, having them compete by building a better product is much more of a valid way to
do it than
as a whole. But
it's important to note Elon Musk has never built up a business from the ground up. He buys them
from the ground up. Yeah,
or the ones he has built. The ones he has built are like ones that aren't really things. Like his random little projects.
I wouldn't necessarily say that invalidates that him being not businessman or an innovator, because no one's invented the idea of something. You don't have, just because he didn't there day one doesn't mean you're still around.
I think it does, because he's not a businessman. He's not an inventor. He's a capital. What's it? and a venture capitalist. That's the word. He's a venture, not an inventor. He's not a businessman. He comes along. Someone else has a brilliant idea. He goes, "Cool, let me payroll you." He started off as a millionaire. He has made lots of good purchases, right? Yeah, but he's good at buying things. He's good at buying low, selling high. That's what he is good at. He's not good at ideas. He is not a smart man. He is not a genius. He didn't invent the rockets. He has no idea what the fuck SpaceX does or how it works. He doesn't really understand the technology in his cars. He doesn't understand AI. This is the same man that a year ago was saying we need to stop AI development. It's moving too quickly and uncontrollably. Why? Because his company was lagging in it. Now his company's caught up a little bit, and he's all on board the AI thing again.
Yeah.
Right? He's an idiot.
Hypocritical. I mean, okay. Yeah, being a venture capitalist is not inherently a bad thing, because if you playing your cards right and you are helping further his humanity development. You know, he's been talking about for like a million trillion years. He's been talking about him wanting men on Mars, which is a noble goal. All right, it's a noble thing to do to try and spread humanity's influence to a different different planet, diversifying where we are. And honestly, I believe that the Mars story will play out similar. It will rhyme with the America story of, like, you know how like in England we've got windy roads, and in America they're all big squares because they can start from scratch. They've got all this land planned out. They can plan, then make an economy. Like that, I think it would work. It's a good thing to do, and Mars would very easily and very quickly be able to surpass the Earth easily. I think so. This is going to take hundreds and hundreds of years. I'd recommend about 400 years until it overtakes, but it'll overtake quickly like that. But like he's doing these things, but he's doing these noble things, but I do not like the fact that he was talking about slowing down AI development only because he was lagging. Because AI development, I don't want to sound like a Luddite, but AI development should have been slowed down. It's gone too quick, too fast, and it's doing bad things. Like, look now, I was spending a couple of days ago. I was trying to get some stock images, right? Use.
Yeah.
Try and find what that is in AI now, because it's just slop. Like it's not ruined, but it's you can understand each step that people are doing with this AI stuff, right? It makes sense, and what them doing this is for their best economic interest, but it's not to the best interest of the human soul. I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like if we had this AI, and if Sam Altman made ChatGPT and then went like, okay, I'm gonna seal this away, and like it's like we're to look at it, we're gonna poke it and prod it. We're gonna basically wait. We're not gonna release it out to the public. Releasing it out to the public was not the best idea until we were at a point where we could simulate consciousness to a degree where we are able to understand robotics themselves. Because
I've got to strongly disagree with that. People have said this since for a fucking time. I mean, people are scared of the light bulb over the candle. You know.
Yeah, so I am being quite a Luddite. I understand that.
Yeah, but I think the reason why I brought this reel up basically is I don't really like Elon Musk. I think he's a bit of a prick.
Really?
I think he's bully. Yeah,
quite
surprising.
Quite of you.
I know. Yeah, I don't know, and stuff like this just baffled me. I also thought it was really funny seeing Sam Altman say he's probably been, what was it, like, driven by insecurity. Was that it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, his whole life is from a position of insecurity. Love that.
I mean, I'm going to treat Sam Altman the same as I treat Elon Musk. If they make the right moves, I'm pro. If they make the wrong moves, I'm against. Simple as that. Yeah. And seeing these two do personal attacks to each other is just like seeing two monkeys flinging their own shit at each other. I am not no stakes in the game. And honestly, both of you are both bellends. And he's all like, oh, he's doing this because he's scared. I mean, why are you doing this, AI? Because, come on, deep down, it's not because like, I'm going to change the world. If you're going to change the world, then Elon Musk's deal of I will give you a shit tons of money to make this work even quicker. You take that immediately. No, it's because you want to protect your personal thing.
This was like 2 days after DeepSeek got released to the public.
DeepSeek, yes. Sorry, there's
the Chinese AI thing.
Yes. Yeah. it's really annoying that quite a lot of AI products are deep blank. I mean, it comes after Deep Blue, which is one of the best AI stories and the best things that ever happened to computer technology as a whole, and neural hours. I love my computer stuff. But yeah, I don't think it's a fair accusation of, this person's Elon Musk is only doing it out of insecurity, when, let's be honest, Sam Altman is along the same lines. And it's okay to be like that. It's okay to do things out of insecurity.
Of course,
Charlie, why are we doing this podcast? What are we doing it for? Like, deep down, what is the deep level? It's probably going to be one of the boil down to a basic human primal emotion if we go all the way down.
Yeah.
And there's no shame. We are humans. We are animals. We are products of our creations and of our genetics, right?
Yeah.
There's no shame. It's like, I did this because I was hungry. I did this because I was sad. I was happy. That's simple as that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. It's just part of life.
I think it's unfair to go, he's only doing this because of that. Like, so what?
True. Yeah. True.
Would you counter anything I said with that?
No, I don't really think it's unfair. I think it's just a highlight, especially with how much kind of Musk is being portrayed as like a superhero saving America right now. I think it's important to counter that narrative.
Yeah, I can understand your desire to do that, because I mean, idolizing a billionaire is no different to idolizing a politician. They're both probably not a good thing to idolize. You know who you should idolize? Your neighbor, your father, people like that. You know what I mean? Real people are the ones that you want to aspire to be.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But because I've told this before, there is a very very small difference between a government and a business in my eyes. So having the mix with Elon Musk being directly involved with the government is probably not a good idea. Is what he's saying noble? I want to cut government waste and lower taxes so that Americans can be more prosperous. Is that a noble thing? If done in essence, in principle, if it's done 100% correctly.
No, because it's not noble. It stands to gain like billions from it. That's not a noble pursuit.
Who does?
Elon Musk.
Okay.
It's not noble. It's not courageous. It's not brave. It's like wanting to make money.
You're misunderstanding what I'm saying here. All right. A neutral person who's done nothing, they're sort of just spawned into the world, and they've gone, my goal is to cut government waste that everyone can agree is waste, and deliver lower taxes so that Americans have more money to spend. Would that be a noble thing? If done, yes, okay. So, and another man just pops out. I want to work with the government to help deal with AI, make sure that there's no threat, and to help deal with our competition to make sure America is the leading nation in AI development. Is that a noble thing? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Cool. What Elon Musk is doing, in principle, is noble, but he stands to gain a lot from it, and so what he's doing in reality is not noble. What I'm trying to say.
But also the way that cutting the waste is very
yes, the actions that are being taken are also not the most noble as well.
Yeah, and like it's not cutting waste from government; it's cutting government, which I don't believe is noble. I believe government it is and can be, and a lot of the time is good.
I think, my opinions. I think government is not the worst thing in the world. Worst invention behind double sliced bread, because there's no point in slicing it twice. But I'm being facetious there. I think that we can have a talk, and I think that having unchecked capitalism is a bad idea, but having unchecked government is also a bad idea. You know what I mean? Not checking on a business is not a good thing. Not checking on a government is not a good thing either.
Yeah, and I think you do have issues though where checks government.
Yeah,
which is currently what we're having, and also it's important to know the American political system is one of the most self-checked political systems. I mean, the common critique of the American political system is they can't get anything. Why? Because there's too much ability to fight back, right? You're three separate houses, all of them can block stuff. Like there's crazy amounts of like work you have to do to get stuff passed. As a
low key, I'm kind of
you have one man that gets to, but now you have one man that gets to go, I'm going to fight against all of this, change all of it. Spending that Congress said, voted politicians said, yes, we agree to spend money on this. He's now going, blocked it. There's clips of DOGE just restricting access from two government buildings, congressmen and congresswomen. That's insane. A private individual citizen is able to block democratically elected people from entering government departments. Mental.
I mean,
to call that noble is
yeah.
whack.
Go back on what you said earlier, though. That the Congress voted on approved. The issue with another issue with the American political system, political systems as a whole, is what they do in America is they tack things onto bills. They don't vote on one thing; they vote on 100. And like, if I'm pro quite a few of them, I'll do it. And also, what's the name of the people that go around like whispering into ears to make sure everyone votes down party lines? Who they, you know what time? Yeah, that is also an issue as well, where maybe these politicians who are democratically elected did not want certain things to go through. That, let's say there was something that is definitely waste. Then, but they had
Actually,
to because they were sort of
so kind of because bills do go through multiple readings for that reason. Because someone finds one clause in they don't like, they go, we want it changed to remove that clause. And then even if you whip all of Congress into agreeing for it, the Senate gets a say, the president gets a say, the Supreme Court gets a say. What you're seeing now is the president, the president and Musk are going, we want this. Everyone else is stepping aside. Everyone else. No one is checking the president. The president has signed executive orders he is not allowed to sign, and the Republican Party is not standing up against him. They are afraid to stand up against him because they will lose their job.
Yeah,
that is the crumbling of a republic.
Yeah, republics do fall after 250 years. That's all I'm saying.
Average civilization, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think we've covered this topic that Samuel was talking about enough? Because do we need to hear his opinion, really? We've got our opinion. Ours is better because us, obviously. Apparently, you told me this third video is like a bit of a shitpost. Am I correct?
No, it's the most intellectual post you've ever seen.
Rubik's Cube has been solved faster and faster every year since it came out, and it won't be long before they can solve it in negative time, enabling people to travel backwards in time.
Keep watching.
Fuck it, sure, whatever. It's just some more light-hearted things.
Using a Rubik's Cube. The maker of the Rubik's Cube, Mattel, intends to use that to travel back in time to when they manufactured them, and the ones that they've already sold, they'll take those from the past, bring them into the present, so they can sell them at 100% profit. The problem with this is it's great for capitalism, but that additional weight of all those Rubik's Cubes will shatter the Earth's mantle, causing the Yellowstone supervolcano to erupt, which is going to send the entire world into a volcanic winter that could last a century or more. So our solution...
You know, actually, I'm now suddenly pro it, because I'm pro volcanic winter. I'm not joking. I'm somewhat pro volcanic winter in moderation. If it's just enough to reverse, if the volcanic winter that lasts for 100 years lowers the Earth's temperature by, let's say, a degree, wouldn't that be really good?
Yeah, but it won't. It would lower it by like 10.
Okay, that's the issue. If we can like very, very, very carefully engineer it to be just 1 degree, so we can just halt global warming. Okay, it's fine.
Is we're going to create the Robux Cube, which is a lightweight alternative to the Rubik's Cube that at lighter weight might not shatter the Earth's mantle, and we can solve it faster. We can travel back in time before Mattel, get the Rubik's Cubes, go back to the Jurassic era, put them in space, and they'll replace the meteor Rubik's Cube.
Replace the meteor?
Okay, I like that.
I got said that and I sent it to you.
You know, this actually makes me think of something. Humans have been around for what? Millions of years, right? On this planet, okay?
Sure.
In that time, all of our development, we've made the Earth lighter. Which is the same thing about
We have.
Yeah.
We have.
The buildings that we build don't make Earth heavier. Same thing. Only thing that makes it lighter is you send shit into space, right?
Yeah.
So like
yeah, that's true.
Unless we can get to another planet, that's the only way we can actually like make the Earth heavier is by asteroid mining, which Let's touch on astral mining for 3 minutes. What do you think? Yes or no?
Yeah, love it.
Wouldn't astral mining though very immediately crumble capitalism?
No.
Do you think that has a chance to?
No.
Because it kind of. Got to think. There's
Sorry, I'll expand on my answers a little bit.
I like the rapid fire thing. Expand. Why do you not think it's going to have a massive impact on the economy, for good or bad?
It will. It will have a massive impact. I mean, we've seen lots of things that have a massive impact on the economy without shattering capitalism. Basically, all it will do is make loads of things cheaper and a lot of people richer, and that's about it. It won't collapse the system. All it will do is your iPhone will become £5 instead of £1,000. What that will mean is we can do so much more. You want 2 monitors? Easy. You want the fucking 10 times more powerful laptop? Easy. You want your camera that is perfect? Easy. Way cheaper. So much cheaper. That's just good. That's just good.
It is.
Cheaper it is, more people can buy it, more profit for the companies, not less.
Okay, I think it's good to do negative impacts from very negative impacts on capitalism, but negative impact on capitalism does not equal negative impacts on humanity. Humanity will be great if done well, all right? Because if we're too reliant on the system that we currently have, and suddenly, hey, I've just brought back, because of course some asteroids are proto planets, so it's basically it's basically like it doesn't fully form, so only the inside bit, the core, which is full of just heavy metals, is just there. Hey, I've just basically brought back the Earth's core, everyone a piece. Suddenly, prices and everything just goes whoom, like that. That could be really disastrous if not dealt with properly.
I mean,
not mitigated properly.
Could be. There would probably be a lot of people who are like in precious metals would lose a lot of money. But also, the thing is, what you got to remember, right? Cheaper technology is, more profit can be made by technology companies. Technology companies are the main companies investing in precious earth material.
Yeah.
So the industry of precious earth materials would prosper, not suffer.
I just can't
There'd
wait.
be change, fam. There would be winners and losers, as with everything. But like, it's not just one big loss.
Main winner is going to be African children, all right? Instead of being in a dirty cobalt mine in Africa, they're going to be in space mining it instead. For nothing. I can't. Like, imagine they'd be so happy to have a little space suit. They'd be living the dream, honestly.
I mean,
look,
it could be better.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. It's like, cool, we've now got a different way to mine cobalt in space. Should we keep the kill children? Yeah, fuck it, why not? Yes.
Yes.
They need a job.
The biggest issue is space as workers.
Yep, definitely that.
How do you police it? How do you do all that? Yeah.
What are the children going to mine if we're doing it all in space? Come on, well, that's the issue we've got to think about here. Well, I think
that's true.
I think I think it's in humanity's best interest to divest from capitalism. Oh, fuck, I sound like such a comic. But not towards comment, to a system that will allow us to integrate these sort of technologies where scarcity becomes no more. We need to be able to start transitioning to a post-scarcity environment. Are we in one? No, far from it. But it'll come quicker than you think, alright?
I don't think it will. Because what you got to remember is humans
scale.
Infinite, but the problem is humans have infinite wants. And this is like what economics is. How do you distribute finite resources to infinite wants? And no matter, even if we get the amount of resources that is nearly infinite, right? So large amount, it's basically infinite for what we can conceive now.
Yes.
One thing you can rely on is human greed, and will always outpace that. We can find 10 billion times the amount of rare earth material. We can find all that. 100 years' time, we're going to be going, shit, we're running out.
Yeah.
Guarantee it almost, because we'll go, right, great, we can do all these things with it. Let's build cars out of solid gold. You know, let's build, like, you wouldn't pick, but you know what I mean? Like, you would just get so much use of them.
That is definitely true. I mean,
should we move on to a serious one now?
Final point, though. I think we will eventually hit a point where human technological progress will match, if not exceed, our ability to gain resources to the point where we'll never be able to run out of resources, because we'll always find a way, eventually, to generate these resources instead. All right? eventually, we will,
Essentially.
I'm talking. I would bet
Hope-
about 800 years. I'd say.
Yep, true, hopefully.
Because I'm not one of the
Hopefully.
people like, yeah, 2030, we're living on Mars. No, it's going to be hundreds of years. All of this, no matter how hard, hundreds of years.
Yeah.
I mean, let's do.
Yeah.
You wanna remember what it is? Do you want to give us like a little bit of preamble?
I mean, yeah, this isn't really one to discuss. It was.
More of a reaction.
I think it's more the point of it, really, is the amount of bullshit that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth. It's a fact check. I've seen about 20 this week come out on being wrong. He just lies. Just blatantly lies.
I haven't seen this clip. I've no idea what you're talking about. Please enlighten me with it.
And what we're trying to do is reduce government. We have too many people. We have office space. It's occupied by 4%. Nobody's showing up to work.
True. Oh no. Oh, this is a fact checking thing.
It's
Okay,
a fact checking
this thing-
video.
This thing's
I
fact-checking.
do want to say. I do want to say. So this man has said no one shows up to. One thing he's quite famous for saying is we shouldn't let government employees work from home because half of them are off playing golf. Do you want to know what Trump spent the whole of yesterday doing?
Playing
As
golf.
in a Wednesday, playing golf.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean that is more than true. Basically, the only reason is because he's able to do it because he's him, and the only reason that the government plans aren't able to do it is because they're below him. It's simple as. And you know what? Is it Machiavellian to say that? Like, yeah, I understand the motives behind it. Like, oh, it's different because I'm me and I'm supreme over all. I am the president of the United States. I literally like who's above me? No one. I understand
Well,
that desire, but like again, I think that having presidents play golf shouldn't be happening as much. I mean, they should be allowed to have leisure, but like, come on.
Yeah, it's not the biggest of deal, but I think it's like the hypocrisy of it. You know, don't tell others they can't take a day off work to play golf when you take a day off work to play golf.
Yeah. I mean, take as much golf as you want, as long as all the work gets done. That's all I really care about.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, if they're not meeting quotas, I
Anyway,
understand
yeah.
it. But yeah, let's continue.
Yeah.
President Donald Trump made this exaggerated claim that federal office space is, quote, occupied by 4%, unquote, of federal workers to bolster his argument for dramatically downsizing the federal workforce and demanding that most workers return to the office full-time. But more than half of the nearly 2.3 million federal workers are not even eligible to work from home at all, according to an Office of Management and Budget report released in August 2024. As of May of that year,
Can I just say, like he wasn't there with a paper proving 4%. He's an exaggerator. He's a bullshitter. All right, he's bullshitting.
Yeah, it's complete lie. 4% of people are 4% of people are in, he said.
Yeah.
4%. And it says there's proof that only 10% are entirely remote.
Yes.
That 50% are not allowed to be remote in any capacity. So how you get to 4%, unless you're saying 46% of that workforce that isn't allowed. No. Yeah, so like 90% of the workforce that isn't allowed to be isn't showing up anyway and is just somehow jobs.
Yeah.
Unless you're saying that, you've just completely
I mean, you know me, Charlie. I will defend someone who will bullshit for it. Exaggerate for effect, all right? Because they can't remember the number off the top of their head. They say anything. But if you're wildly off base, just to counter that, because I feel like to de-spin the cycle, I feel like I have to sort of try it. Maybe he meant like, you know, right, so it's 10 square meters room, and like actually only like 4% of that room is occupied with a desk and a chair.
Do you know how stupid that is? That would be like saying me in this room, it's an inefficient use space. This room I can almost touch with like my arms.
It's true,
right?
you
but
deserve
it's
smaller.
Inefficient because I only take up about 5% of.
About 30%.
You know,
Sorry, I feel like I had to.
No, that's brilliant, man.
You are lovely and trim. Don't you worry yourself.
That was a beautiful example. Great timing.
All right, let's continue.
only 228,000, about 10% of the federal workforce, were entirely remote.
Also on that, for some jobs it makes sense to be remote. Like if you're like the Afghani representative, I mean, I doubt you need to be on U.S. soil if you're in a different country. Like
Exactly. Or maybe if you're like technical, right? What did technical support used to do, right? Before we had remote working, they sat in a basement or in an office, but normally got shoved in the basement, answered calls and gave assistance over the phone.
Yeah.
Why does anyone answering a call need to be? Could just do that from your home.
Or I was
Just as-
thinking you were to say that like technical support, they'll drive out to the place where it needs fixing.
Yeah.
Fix it that way.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, exactly.
is more than that.
And then why do they need to start in an office? If that one person in the office messages and goes, "Can you drive out to this house and help them?" Yep, sure.
I mean, I understand it because, working in an office, you actually more like to get work done compared to that. That's just my experience. I feel like a lot of people, when dealt with remote work, would do a lot less effort.
I think it's different for everyone, and I think you should let them do what they want to do. And if they're a bad worker, fire them.
Yeah, do
If they
whatever
don't
is
get
most
enough
efficient.
work.
If you had a worker who was not remote and they're doing it for like 10 years, suddenly they went remote and their workload decreased by half, you're back into the office.
I know just as many people in office and remote working that do basically nothing all day. It's regardless of whether it's your attitude towards work.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. And that this is like that. You know what? I'm going to save it for a really big episode. I'm going to talk about is that basically our economy is fake. Is what I'm going to. That's my clickbait. All right, my clickbait is economy. The economy is fake because there's the oldest job known to man. It's not a prostitute. It's a corn ledger. Is the oldest physical evidence we have of a job as a
ledger?
So you know what a ledger is?
Somebody keeps track of.
Basically, they deal with corn, like how much is being sold and bought and grown.
Cool.
The oldest job we have is an Excel spreadsheet filler, which is awful to think. It's not like something really cool, noble, and spiritually cool. No,
no, of course
that
not.
is the human experience is filling Excel spreadsheets. It's not fucking wonderful. But we'll talk about. I'm going to do a big long thing about that. I think
economics, as I just said, it's finite resources to infinite one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that. That is what humanity is. I feel like humanity is destined for better than that. Who knows?
We're bean counters. That's what we are.
We are nothing more than bean counters, indeed.
Get the full story at factcheck.org.
Oh, is that the entire thing?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, didn't realize that.
It was bullshitting. But not bullshitting. It's lying. Bullshitting and lying is a very different thing. Do not get them confused.
No.
It was incorrect on that. Or at least, as they say, it was an exaggeration.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But do you think that the government may have some issue with some people, some government workers who are working remotely and aren't being efficient enough as they would be in an office? Because I'd say yes, most likely.
Of course they are, but I would say it's the same rate as any private. Just because you work for the government doesn't make it any less likely that you have a manager that's on your ass if you don't do enough work.
No, definitely not. But I feel like if it's a governmental job, it should be like, okay, if it's for a business, you're letting the business down, right? By doing that. If it's for the government, you're letting the country down somewhat. Be a bit patriotic. Do you understand what I'm saying though? You're letting the people down.
Yeah, I can see.
So yeah, I can understand his thing, but I think like both a business and businesses and governments, because again they're inextricably linked, they're very similar. I think that they should be able to explain it. They should try to find with this advent of technology to have remote work. They need to find each person is different. They need to find the way that works best for them. I most likely, if I found a job that said, "Do you want to work remote or in person?" I'd take remote because I feel like I would do a lot less. And I feel like I'd get away with it. But some sort of rigorous test, fuck knows how. That sort of thing where we can find out what is the best for each thing to maximize profit because that's what we want.
Maybe, but also, this is the rigorous test to figure out maximizes profit is capitalism.
That is
what it is.
That is capitalism.
If you work from home, if you think you working from home means you produce worse quality work at a slower pace, you go ahead and do that. You will not get as many promotions or advancements in your career as if you worked hard. Kind of a fact.
Why would I want a promotion? I've got enough money to afford food and afford the video game.
Sure, then why bother working harder? I bet you're going to go for companies that are happy to pay you less. So the company will also pay you less because they go, probably not as good of a worker.
It is. I'm going to say it is not a noble thing to put in 110% effort and work 80 hours a week. That's one of my main argument. One of the main things I don't like about conservative rhetoric is that working 80 hours does not mean you're a better person. All right, I'll say if anything the opposite. Cause it's not. I wouldn't say that either. It's like conservatism shouldn't be used for this kind of thing of like, oh yeah, it's good to work loads of money and and not being fairly rewarded for it. Like, you know, or
True.
even being fairly rewarded for it doesn't mean like you're doing better. Like, it just means that you're just like a sucker who's doing this. You should focus on your spiritual and your emotional and your human development and developing humanity, not making number go up.
Yeah, I would agree with you, and especially for like, me. And but if you wanna do that, then do it. You know.
Yeah, if you want
Feel
to
like
work,
a
if you
big
like
work.
working 8 hours a week and watching number go
Go
higher,
for it.
I get it. It's addictive. I like to see numbers get higher. But that's it for the.
But don't do
reels.
it. But don't do it to like power through. You know.
Yeah, it's not a noble thing. But we're done with the reels now. Do you want to take a little piss break and we'll watch a video or so? What do you think?
Yeah. All right, that sounds good to me. Yeah, make a cup of tea or something.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds lovely. I would get coffee, but it's a bit late now.
Yeah, a little late.
Right, go on, see you in 5.
Right. Yeah.